have got another optic unboxing, and let me tell you a little quick story of how I ended up with this dot. Now, CVLife has reached out to me a few times about doing reviews, and I've always just kind of blown them off. So when you're a YouTuber or a content creator, you will get these random emails from people once in a while that want you to review a product, and you can either respond and say yes, send it out to the channel, or you can just not respond, or you can tell them you're not interested. They reached out to me again, and they gave me a list of 3 things that I could pick, and I saw this, and I'm like, I gotta try this out. So let's get it out of the box, and then I'll explain to you why I wanted to review the optic that's in this box. Now let's kind of just go over the packaging here. It's a pretty simplistic box. This is the top. You got a model number or whatever here on the side, and everything else is just kind of plain. Now on the bottom of the box, you've got your barcode here to scan what it is, and yes, this dot is made in China, but we're going to get into why I wanted to review this here in a sec. Alright, so when you do get it, I already cut the tape, but they do have it sealed up. 2 pieces of tape here. The lid just pops off. First thing you see here on top is the owner's manual, and this is called the CVLife WolfCovert Mini Green Dot Sight. And it pretty much just unfolds. It is color, and it is 2-sided. Next thing we got, lens cleaning cloth. The dot here in the middle. We'll set it off to the side. We'll get to that last. Here we have a plate. And I'll tell you about this plate here in a second. Here we've got another bag that has our hex wrench in it. It's also got a flathead screwdriver to adjust the windage and elevation. We also have 2 batteries, looks like. So that's a pretty cool thing they do. Alright, full disclosure. I did get this out of the box, and I'll tell you why here in a second. So it does come with 2 CR2032 batteries. We're not going to be using these. I put an Energizer in it. I wanted to make sure it worked, and the other reason was when I told them that I wanted this in a green dot, they said they only had red at the time, but then when I looked at the box, it said green, and they actually did send me the green dot, which I'm super happy about because I didn't really want to review the red dot. I wanted to review the green dot. Now, one thing that I'm already really impressed with are the screws. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 5 packs of screws, which is super cool because it's always nice to have extras. And let's get into what this plate is. So this plate in this bag is for the Glock MOS system, and it also comes with another pack of screws. So there's your MOS plate. It's definitely metal. I'd say it's aluminum, and not too bad of a plate. Super light. Now that is everything that came in the box. Let's get rid of that, and let's dive into this optic. So as you can see right away, it does come with a very nice rubber cap. Alright, after you remove the rubber cover, you see that it does come with a 1913 Picatinny rail mount, so you can mount this on an AR, shotgun, anything with that style of mount. Now, I want to talk about why I wanted to do a review on this dot. 1, it's a green dot. 2, it's RMSC footprint. And the third thing was that intrigued me. This actually has a set of fiber optic backup rear sights built onto the dot, which I thought was super cool. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and remove the 1913 Picatinny mount off of this dot. I'm going to do that off camera because we don't need it and we're not going to use it. And then we're going to get into all the specs of this dot. Alright, we got the mount off. So here we have the CVLife WolfCovert Green Dot sight. Now, like I said, this is RMSC footprint. And one thing I can tell you I already don't like, it is a bottom mount battery. Now on the plus side, at least it is CR2032, and this does have motion awake technology, which is what CVLife calls their version of shake awake. Now with that shake awake, this dot will shut itself off after 4 minutes. It does have a 50,000 hour battery life, which they say they all have that. It doesn't matter what brand it is. And we will test that shake awake, make sure it works, because this is actually going to go on a carry gun, and this is something that a lot of people might want to use on a carry gun due to the fact of its size and the fact that it is RMSC footprint. So we definitely want to make sure that that shake awake works. Let's get into the dimensions here. So we've got a length of 1.81 inches. Our width on this dot is only 1.02 inches, and our height is 1.06. The housing on this dot is made out of aluminum, and this is IPX7 waterproof rated. But I'm kind of having a hard time believing that when we've got a bottom mount battery, and I do not see any kind of weather shield that came with this. So I don't know about that waterproof rating. Alright, so let's start talking about the green dot. Now, this is off right now. Like I said, I already installed a battery because I wanted to make sure they actually did send me the green dot. To turn this on, you are just going to hit the plus button on this side. Alright, let me make sure it's on. Okay, we are on. Then if you want to turn it off, you push the minus button. Let me make sure I can see this dot. Takes about 2 seconds of you holding that down to turn it off. Now the lens on this is a multi-coated lens, and this does have 10 brightness settings. Now, with that being said, I couldn't find anything about NV on this or not, but it does come with 10 brightness settings. So I assume the last two maybe are night vision compatible. I don't know. Now I want to show you the dot. There is your dot. And I believe right now I've got it turned all the way up. So I want to talk about that a little bit. Remember how I told you that I was having a lot better luck with green dots, not starbursting? This one starbursts just a little bit. Now, we're on a white background and we're in the studio, and I've got this cranked all the way up to 10. And it's not super bad, but this is kind of the first green dot that I've seen that starburst. So let me turn this down just a little bit. Okay, I've got it halfway down now on 5. And it's still really bright on this white background. And I'm just getting a little flare just right off the bottom of that dot. So it's not bad. But if you crank it all the way up, it definitely is starbursting a little bit. But for the price, what this thing cost, kind of to be expected. And I can't tell you about prices on this dot, but it's definitely worth checking out if it holds up to the range. The glass, if you look, pretty thin amount of protection around that lens, but it is recessed back in there pretty far. I'd say even here at the bottom at the smallest point, you're still back about 1/4 of an inch, maybe right in between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch. So there's plenty of protection there. Same here in the back. But yeah, it's not a bad little design. Now the buttons on this are they're pretty stiff, which is a good thing, because especially if you're going to be carrying this. Now the next thing we want to check, that we check on all these dots in the unboxing videos, let's check the windage and elevation here. Okay, so they are stiff, but they are not tactile, so there's no like clicks in between adjustments or anything like that. Let's see if it's the same on the elevation. So you're not going to have any audible clicks or any kind of tactile feel, but they definitely are stiff enough that I don't think you're going to have to worry about them coming out of adjustment. Now the WolfCovert does come with CVLife's 1-year warranty. That's another thing to keep in mind. A lot of these budget dots nowadays have lifetime warranties or at least a 2 or 3 year warranty. So keep in mind this one only has a 1-year warranty. All right, I got to go figure out what gun I want to put this on, and we'll come back, talk about it after we get it on the gun, and then in the next video, we'll get this thing out to the range and we'll test it out. All right, I got this mounted up on the 365 XL, and this gun is clear, no magazine. We are good to go. Put it on here because, like I said, it is an RMSC footprint dot. It's very small. Fits the 365 XL very well. And I want to get it out to the range and do a review. But I think I'm going to go ahead and just carry it for 30 days. And I have this backup rear sight. I can just barely co-witness the top of my front sight here on the SIG. I need just a little bit taller sight, but in a backup situation, I think it'll work. And we're going to test that out when we get out to the range. We'll actually shut the dot off and we'll shoot the fiber optics with the front sight. And one other thing that I found out, I looked through the manual, there is one NV setting out of the 10 brightness settings on this. Now, the last thing we got to do before we get out of here, we need to make sure this shake awake works. All right, I'm going to show you here. The dot is on. And what we are going to do is we are going to set it on this pistol stand. I'll try not to move this table at all. And then I'll come back and we'll put the cell phone on it, make sure it's off, and then we'll tap it. All right, guys, it's been 4 minutes. Let's see if this dot comes back on. It did turn off. And it did. There it is. Very cool. So the shake awake does work. All right, there we have it. So the shake awake does work. We got a green dot instead of a red dot. We got backup fiber optic rear sights. Fits the 365 XL slide just perfect. And one last test here. Let's see how it works in the Vetter holster. And there we go. So, now we got to take it to the range in the next video. And the big test is, how's this going to hold up to 200, 250 rounds of ammo at the range? And we're going to find that out. Well, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next one.